Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to this paper of the ICEGOV 2021 conference. We are presenting the paper called Analysis of the Usage of the Core Public Service Vocabulary Application Profile. My name is Miguel Alvarez-Rodriguez and I work for the European Commission for the Directorate of Informatics. I'm one of the three contributors.
Hello everyone, I'm Florian Barthélemy from PwC and I'm working as part of the Technology Consulting Department together with Miguel.
Hi all, my name is Alexandre Beaufays. I'm a senior consultant within Technology Consulting of PwC Belgium.
Thank you. So basically today we are presenting the findings of this report, part of the ISA² former program, Catalogue of Services Action. In this project, we have implemented along with member states a common public service vocabulary application profile, the so-called CPSV-AP, to help public administrations to catalog their public services and to describe the information needed by the citizens, by the businesses, but also by the public administrations to get information about public services.
Thank you, Miguel. And before diving into the methodology and results of this paper, let's have a quick look at the context. Because basically in today's world, we are expecting as citizens and businesses to find and understand information easily, to have it in our language and to find it from any device we might use. And for public administrations, it actually raises several challenges. For example, there are lacking descriptions. Where are the descriptions from the plethora of public organizations we have in Europe? Where can I find it? How can it be exchanged? And is this information at a similar level of granularity or in the same language? And finally, can this information be easily structured and exchanged in similar formats? To better understand these challenges and the role of CPSV-AP that Miguel introduced, let's watch together a nice animation.
The European Union is home to a lot of different people, all with their own plans and dreams to work or study abroad, or to simply renovate their home. The governments of the European member states can help achieve these dreams and goals. But in a fast-paced and rapidly changing Europe, it isn't always easy to find up-to-date information about what support is available. Take, for example, Anna, a successful Spanish businesswoman who wants to expand her business and open offices all over Europe. Anna, however, has a lot of questions. How do the tax systems work? What are the local labour laws? Where does she need to register and get permits in these countries? Anna is confused. Finding information isn't easy. In Europe, the information is spread over different government sites and portals, often in the language of the original country, with their own structure and logic. How does Anna know where and how to look, and what the right information is? What if there was one place where businesses, organisations and citizens could find all the information they need on public services at a glance? Just imagine there was no need to visit all these different websites with their unfamiliar layout and language. And it's possible, but first information needs to flow freely between public administrations. Public administrations provide information to citizens, organisations and businesses. They all have their own methods and provide information in a way that is familiar and understandable for their citizens. But problems arise when one public administration wants to exchange data with another administration. Because everyone has their own method, the data needs to be formatted differently before it can be exchanged. This creates a spider's web of connections. It involves a lot of work, is a nightmare to keep up to date, and causes overall confusion. So how can this be solved? Let's imagine the way a country structures its data as a puzzle piece. Each country has a puzzle piece that is unique. If you want to connect two countries, you need to have a third piece to connect those two puzzle pieces. So for every link between countries, we need a unique puzzle piece. That's quite an investment. One way to solve this is by having a puzzle piece that fits all the other pieces. And this is exactly what the Core Public Service Vocabulary Application Profile, or CPSV-AP for short, does. It's a common and structured way of describing public services. Instead of hundreds of puzzle pieces to connect public administrations in different countries, we now only need one universal piece which fits with everyone. Less work, less upkeep, and less cost. Each country just needs to make sure that their piece fits with the CPSV-AP to be aligned with other countries that are already using or aligning with the model, making it easier to exchange information and making it available in an integrated and user-centric way, no matter which system is used. When Anna wants to look for information on starting up new businesses, she will find everything readily available. Every country can now share information easily, making sure that organisations, citizens and businesses are always up to date with the latest developments in public services. With the information at her fingertips, Anna is now able to open businesses all over Europe.
CPSV-AP enables different organizations to find this common piece of information in order to exchange or simply catalog their public services. By capturing the fundamental characteristics, CPSV-AP remains flexible. And this flexibility is key to make it reusable. However, this flexibility also brings different questions, and that's exactly what we tackled as part of this paper. Let's look into some of those questions with Alexandre.
Exactly. And as my colleague Florian mentioned, the flexibility aspect of CPSV-AP was a driving interest of our research. And from our point of view, we noticed that two main use cases of reuse of CPSV-AP could be identified. On the one hand, you can use CPSV-AP as a starting point, meaning that you will develop your own data model and therefore catalog your public services with CPSV-AP. You will start with it. Based on your needs, you will be able, an organization will be able to build on top of CPSV-AP and extend the model if needed. On the other hand, you can also use CPSV-AP as a tool to assess and validate the level of compliance of your own data model with others. This is done to ensure that the level of interoperability between data models is good enough. Therefore, we were wondering the following questions. First, which concepts were reused from CPSV-AP as part of the different data models? Secondly, which use case present from the two that we have just displayed, which of them present the highest compliance ratio to CPSV-AP? And lastly, we also discussed the future and the possible evolutions of CPSV-AP in the future versions. To answer our different questions, we first carried out a complete and thorough mapping of the different data models between CPSV-AP and them. To corroborate our results, we also performed a survey with different European countries. Please just note that a similar exercise has been previously performed in 2019 by Alexandre Beaufays and his colleagues from the University of Macedonia. As this work echoed our research, we decided to include the different outputs of this work into our mapping to check if the proposition and suggestion made by Alexandre and his team were implemented in the different data model analyzed. Here is a global overview of the methodology that we followed to carry out the paper. So as a first step, we identify the European countries that collaborate with us. So the different data models that we analyzed as part of step 2, based on their specifications and the different information that they provided us. Our analysis led to the comparison, the mapping itself with CPSV-AP. And as a final step, we assessed and aggregate the result of the match rates between the different data models and CPSV-AP. And that's what we will show with my colleague Miguel.
Let's have a look indeed to the results, the concluding findings of this study. First of all, we can say that these pre-assumptions in terms of the flexibility of the data model and the use cases that could work well with CPSV-AP in a way are confirmed. On average, 70% of the classes and 80% of the properties of the CPSV-AP are being reused across the different models analyzed in this study. However, we have seen that there is a cluster of classes and properties of the data model that are poorly reused. These are here shown in the slide: public service dataset, collection, opening hours, specification. These are concepts that are hardly reused across the different data models and requires further investigation. And finally, when it comes to the use cases analyzed, what is the level of compliance is confirming what was presented earlier on by Alexander. Those data models taking the CPSV-AP as the mother specification on the baseline specification, they are getting a higher compliance ratio as opposed to those data models that were defined totally decoupled and independently of the CPSV-AP. Finally, another major conclusion that we achieved in this study is, out of this second strand of analysis, doing the previously mapping exercise performed by Gerontos and his colleagues of the University of Macedonia, we have indeed identified the same findings. There are a lot of classes and properties that are present across the different data models we analyze, confirming that indeed these are classes and properties that are very much needed, and classes and properties that on the other side can be found in the CPSV-AP. So here we have clustered these properties in three major classes: channel, evidence, and public service. However, we have to notice that the concepts around the feedback class were not used in the data models that we analyzed, as opposition to the proposition recommended by Gerontas as a suggestion to be added to the CPSV-AP. Probably that will require also some analysis, further analysis from our side.
So, similarly to past years, where we looked into how different technologies can be used by public organizations and how CPSV-AP can play a role in those technologies, I'm thinking about APIs, chatbots, etc. Today, we are conducting an analysis and a study on natural language processing techniques and how they can be of interest for public organizations. So have a look or stay tuned as part of this action, and we'll share definitely the outcomes of this study by the end of this year. Secondly, if you don't know, if you are not aware, please have a look at the EU Interoperability Academy, where you can find different trainings made and tailored specifically for businesses, citizens, and public administrations, where you will find also a new training material from the CPSV-AP as a model, and also for Catalogue of Services as a use case on how to build it. And we are also integrating, as we speak, videos really detailing concrete examples on how CPSV-AP can be used. Later on, next year, we are looking into the option of creating a guidebook on how to implement CPSV-AP, so more for technical people, which could actually be a document with step-by-step descriptions on how to create a catalog of services with different tools, with a common model, CPSV-AP, etc. Finally, and that's very important, in 2022, we would like also to launch a major revision of CPSV-AP, simply because other core vocabularies have been reviewed which have an impact on CPSV-AP, but also all the different findings that Miguel described as part of this paper, and that would need also or would bring inputs to this discussion. So if you would like to raise some issues or participate into those discussions, stay tuned, but also don't hesitate to access the GitHub repository of CPSV-AP and raise your issues over there. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope that this was of interest for you. And if you would like to follow us, stay tuned on JoinUp or directly through our different communication channels. And you can find our contact details over here. Thank you.